Dual System Procedures, narrated by yours truly, Jake Estrin. Up first, we have water chemistry. First, you're going to grab your associated system beaker, and then you're going to fill it with an appropriate amount of water to do your water chemistry. We then grabbed a water testing kit first, and then along with the three others, calcium, magnesium, and alkalinity. First, we did just the basic water test kit with pH, ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. As you can see, Eli, Nathan, and Alex are doing the basic water chemistry, and our results are in the photo right here. And pH is 8.2, ammonia is at 0, nitrate is at 0, and nitrite is also at 0. So this is really good because we have nothing toxic in the water that could potentially harm or kill any of our fish or species. Next, we are doing the other chemicals or trace elements: magnesium, calcium, and alkalinity. And as you can see with the with the results, magnesium was at 1080, calcium was at 400, and alkalinity was at 7.7. The next thing we had to do was to get the temperature of the system. Now, normally, we would get it from online through the equipment we have, but we went and used a thermometer for it. And the temperature read at 23 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. The next thing up for water chemistry was the salinity of the water. So the first step we do is we get a salinity test kit, and then we take it out along with the dropper, and we are going to go to the RO container and zero out the test first. And the RO water was zeroed out. Then we went over to our system, grabbed the water from the bottom of Dual, put it in the salinity test, and it read 1.022. The final step for this was writing it all on the whiteboard. As you can see, Nathan doing so right now. 77 degrees for the temperature, 8.2 for the pH, and 0 across the board for ammonia, nitrate, and nitrite. 1.022 for the salinity, 7.7 for the alkalinity, 400 for calcium, and magnesium was at 1080. Protein skimmers and filter pads. To clean a protein skimmer, you first have to take off the top portion where the bubbles funnel up and take that added particle or debris out of the system. So you have to twist it off and then take it over to a nearby sink to clean it and rinse it. You can use any brush, but the best one is a hard bristle brush, which is what Alex is using right now. And we also clean it so the bubbles can have a slick, nice surface to stick on so they can easily go up the protein skimmer, removing those nasty small particles and debris, which just makes the system overall a better environment for our fish and species. And once you're done, you put the lid back on, and you go back over to the protein skimmer and twist it back on. Twist it to the point where if you try to lift it up, it locks in place and it won't come off easily. The next thing up are filter pads. I wish we cleaned filter pads more consistently, but with the schedule we have to do it as often as we can. So, the first thing to check is if there's any brittle stars. As you can see in the video, I pick up a couple and throw them back into the system, because sometimes they get stuck into the filtration and they end up on the filter pad. Afterwards, you take the filter pad outside, past the roll-up door, and you're going to lay it on the ground and turn on the hose to rinse it off. This saves us time and money because we can just reuse the filter pads over and over until, obviously, they get really excessively dirty, which is when we would replace them. Then after a rinse, flip it over, do it again. Next, we are going to get a bucket of RO water to dip the filter pads in, because we don't want to keep that nasty hose water on our filter pad, because it could just mess with our system and our filtration, or it could potentially harm the species living within the system. As you can see, Nathan is grabbing a bucket and filling it with RO water from the RO container. Dunk one filter pad, and then set it right down on the grit or grade, and then make sure that the water pumps are hitting the filter pad and collecting all that excess debris. Do the same thing with the second filter pad, lay it right on top, and you have now successfully cleaned your filter pads. But the next step is feeding. Now, so we have the dry pellets on the left and then the red flakes on the right. And you just have to give a pinch of each into the bottom and top of dual. Ideally, never overfeed. You can always underfeed, because then you can just add a little bit more food later on if the fish really eat it all almost immediately. Now that the fish have been fed, we can move on to the next step of cleaning, scrubbing. Alex is holding a net in front of the fan to catch the debris that Nathan and Eli are scrubbing off. This just makes it easier for the cleanup process, but also so there isn't so much debris floating around while cleaning the system. This also helps prevent added gook or particles or debris getting into the filtration and possibly making more of a mess. Skimming. Skimming is a super easy way to clean your tank, and especially used in the bottom of our dual system. It doesn't look like there's a lot of particles, but if you spend just a few seconds or maybe just a couple minutes, you really get to see the buildup of all those small little particles that just can't really be seen. That white mesh of the net is turning to like a reddish brown from all the gook, just from the surface of the water. Then if you think it gets too dirty, you could go over to the sink, flip it over, and just rinse all that junk down the sink, and then literally just rinse and repeat until you think or you can't pick up any more debris. Rock and coral cleaning. So for rock and coral cleaning, we have to use toothbrushes. We take a rock out of the system and into a bucket of RO water, and we scrub it gently to get all that nasty hair algae or just algae off of our live rock. When you're done scrubbing, you just simply put it back where you found it, and it's all nice and shiny. Afterwards, when you're done with those buckets and cleaning and scrubbing the live rock or coral, take it outside to the drain and dump and rinse your buckets. As you can see, Eli is rinsing the buckets right here. Thank you for watching.